It is a mistake to view as a positive sacrifice men giving themselves over to the Roman Catholic priesthood. For men to choose entering an unscriptural church and its unscriptural priesthood, scorning God's natural blessings in the process, is an act of selfish desire, not noble sacrifice. In Romans 12 we read the following: I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. True sacrifice before God is always in accord with his will. Otherwise, we may as well commend those who explosively sacrifice their lives for the cause of religious, tyrannical philosophies. To join an unbiblical system and priesthood is a sin, as also a denial of gospel truth. The Roman Catholic priesthood is nowhere to be found within Scripture, and this is due ultimately to the fact that there is no scriptural use for the Roman priesthood. The sacraments they oversee and the blessings they are alleged to mediate are nothing but a distortion of scriptural truth. The scriptural priesthood for the Church is, of course, the priesthood of all believers who offer spiritual sacrifices to God. And it is extremely appropriate that such teaching comes prominently from the Apostle Peter, who Roman Catholics allege was the first pope. God, through Peter, in his epistles, teaches nothing of the office of the pope, or a distinct clerical priesthood distributing Christ's salvation. It is evident that a distortion of church leadership crept in early to the churches, even within the apostolic era. Diotrephes, an example of one bishop elevating himself over others in the oversight of a church locality, very much in line with the pride and arrogance of the Pope of Rome. The early church latched onto this unscriptural doctrine, soon enough establishing merely one bishop over a church instead of a plurality of bishops in accordance with the will of God. The seeds of this pride and denial of Scripture led in the process of centuries to the arrogant claims and practices of the Roman Catholic clerical system. Satan has his bride, a bride which has a false satanic priesthood which establishes cannibalism and blood drinking as part of its ministerial oversight. In reality, priests of the Roman Catholic Church are fraudulent mediators between God and men, hijacking Christ's salvation and claiming to distribute his grace by their ministry. It matters not what the tradition of men or so-called church fathers say in the matter. Diotrephes was the earliest of church fathers, but his tradition deviated from God's pattern for church governance, and he is soundly rebuked for doing so. What saith the Scripture? That is the question we must ask. Anyone who claims that the Bible teaches a Roman Catholic hierarchy and priesthood is either deluded, deceived, or lying. Again, we read in Scripture, Ye also, as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house, an holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God by Jesus Christ. Such spiritual sacrifices are the privilege of all, not a special class of clerics, and include praising God, thanksgiving, the ministering to the saints, doing good, presenting our bodies unto God's will, and a walk of faith. the Roman Catholic priesthood is totally unnecessary. That priesthood is a ministry for the false sacramental gospel of Rome. It has no place within Scripture, no place in the gospel, no place in the hearts and minds of believers, no place in the true church. It is a sham and a scam.